Everybody, just wanted to do a quick update. Um, you can see here the SPY pulled back to the 9 EMA daily, this purple line right here, found support, and it banged its head against this 410 resistance level. Also, there's a trend line here. Okay, so there's a trend line, didn't hit it exactly, but of course, the 9 EMA daily first test, it got support, right? So let's look at the market profile. All right, so we can get a little bit of what happened here. Now that toothpick holding up the elephant did come into play a little bit. So here's those single prints I talked about earlier in the morning, right? So we cleaned up these all the way to here. So we did get some selling into them, right? Now look at the Nasdaq. The single prints doesn't start to down here. So Nasdaq didn't go down as far as the ES. ES is weaker, right? As far as like what's been happening. Um, So what I usually like to do now is go to the single prints. I take them and I go bring them down to where they were cleaned, and I keep them up just like that. So now single prints are still here. Haven't touched them in the Nasdaq. Okay. From what I'm seeing right now is this market might be waiting for Powell to speak for tomorrow. Um, Key resistance level in the Nasdaq is here, 126.02. Now we have a weak high here. Okay. If we do puncture this, we could eventually, run us up to the most traded price of the week. Okay. ES is weaker. Didn't come up to this 41.43. Okay. We do have a supply zone here. Do have monthly VWAP right here. Okay. Now, this is very important in the ES. Okay. Um, what I'm seeing, okay, is supply zone, monthly VWAP, like I just said. However, what happened today? Earlier in the morning, I talked about in the pre-market video the most traded price of the week. Okay, well that it's a rolling thing, right? So every 5 days it rolls. So today it did, once the market opened, it did move the most traded price of the week up here. That level's about 41.87. Okay, that's about 41.87. So that has moved up. Okay, so we're beneath the most traded price of the week in the Nasdaq here and in the ES. Okay, so um, this is a very interesting market today. So we saw the fall, clean some singles, like I said. All right, what else? What else am I looking at? So let's look at the internals today. All right, the market internals, which I like to use. All right, let's look at those. Okay, we have our ticks. Now ticks were painting below the zero line. Here, that was bearish. Now they're starting to print above the zero line, which is, you could see a little bit of the change of the tone in the market, right? Weighted AD here is about neutral. Okay, you got, it's negative for the weighted and unweighted, but it's about neutral at negative 23, and then we have about negative 60 with the unweighted. So this is about neutral, right? We have the ADD, the advanced decline of the S&P 500. It's at minus 209, which is neutral. Okay. Now in the Nasdaq, out of the Nasdaq 100, right, we're at a negative 21. A negative 21. So that means 80 stocks are advancing versus 21 decliners. Okay, Nasdaq's pretty strong as far as Nasdaq 100. Okay, um, I'm sorry, that was wrong what I gave you before. That was a wrong number. This is more close to parity. Parity meaning like it's neutral, because zero would be 50 and 50. Okay, so this is advancers minus decliners. So yeah, this is neutral. I'm sorry. This is not what I said before. Minus 15 is just in the middle. Just like the S&P, it's in the middle. A little more negative in the in the S&P, slightly negative in the Nasdaq. Okay, so forget about what I said before. I don't know why I was saying those numbers. And the market's popping right now as I'm speaking. Okay, let's look at those sectors, right? Infotech, which is the largest, 26.5% of the market, it is up 0.6% off the open. This is off the open. Off the open. Only starts on the open. Healthcare is slightly down. Financials up 0.36. Consumer discretionary 0.34. Industrials up 0.5. Okay. And the green, communications is up. Staples is up. Energy is down. Crude is a big loser today. Okay. Um, Real estate is up. So pretty much the sectors off the open. Remember, we gapped down. So this is off the open. Yeah, obviously the market's not up, but off the open, everything's green besides energy and healthcare. And healthcare is like almost flat. Okay, it's just very neutral. I think we're waiting for tomorrow for Powell. I don't see anything big happening. Okay, but this is what I'm looking at. It's my little internal dashboard. I just like to see. Oh, okay, we're kind of neutral. So like, you know, so the um the the advanced decline, obviously the closer to zero you are, the closer to parity. And out of 500 stocks, we're closer to parity. So I just wanted to, sure, yeah, I gave you the wrong numbers earlier. I apologize for that. Nasdaq closer to zero is parity, right? It's at negative 15. I mean, it's pretty much 50-50. That's why, hence, the market's not going crazy up or down. All right, and we have now in the market profile. Okay, I just want to point this out. So in the Nasdaq, we have a weak high, which is the 126.02. So this is the area right now. We have a weak low. So look at this overnight low and the low that we just had. See that? So the overnight low and the RTH low today are equal. The overnight high and the RTH high are almost equal. These are breakout points. Okay? Breakout points or range points, which means like we can just go in this range for Powell. It's not as pretty in the ES. You do have more of a weak low here, but you don't have that weak high like you do in the Nasdaq. So just keep that in mind. Okay, I just wanted to point that out. All right, I wanted to point that out. This market is not giving a lot of information to be like, ooh, we're bullish, we're bearish, right? So I just wanted to update that, make you guys a little video. And it's looking like it's under 10 minutes, which I wanted to do. Maybe even a little longer than I wanted to. But hopefully you guys can glean something for this. Hopefully there's no big trade to make. We are going to come into supply zone, but we're also coming into lunch soon, which the volume drops and then you can get chopped up. So, but we could be coming into a supply zone here. Curious, we haven't touched it yet. What happens? Remember, breakout points. Just be aware of that in the Nasdaq. Okay, breakout points. So the breakout point on the bottom here, that wow, to the tick, 124.56.75 is the equal lows in the Nasdaq. That is called a weak low. If this gets revisited with volume and the market being weak, we're punching down. We're probably going to hit these single prints down here. Okay. All right. So 90-day daily right now, and trend line is being supportive right now. So if I see anything else, I will update later.